Hey, this is how you do the high hook in arm wrestling. The high hook is an advanced arm wrestling technique. It is a combination of a hook and a top roll. This is how you do it. So the high hook, like every other arm wrestling technique, has a setup and an execution. We will talk about the setup first, which will lead to the execution. In the setup, you need to remember a number of things. The first is height. You need to gain as much height as possible, that is through your hand and through your elbow. You need to bring your elbow to the top right corner of the elbow pad. This will give you the maximum amount of height possible. Also, your hand needs to be high. Once you have height, you need to be able to maintain your pronation. You do this by not allowing your opponent to take a grip which stops you from pronating once the match starts. So, you need to supinate and extend your wrist while maintaining height while your opponent is gripping with you. What this does is it won't allow them to have a grip which doesn't allow you to engage your pronation. So once you have height and you have the ability to engage your pronation once the match starts, we will talk about the execution next. The execution is as follows. As soon as the match starts, the first thing you need to do is you need to bend your wrist. You need to keep most of your cup. That's why this is the part of the move which is the reason we call it a high hook. Because in a traditional hook, you're usually bringing your shoulder forward and going in this low position. While in a high hook, you're actually cupping from a high position. Once you're here, you need to apply back pressure like you do in a top roll. You need to lean back with your body such that you're applying most of your force through your back pressure. If you're able to do this successfully, not only will you take the other person's pronation, but you will also be able to crack the wrist back. Once you're here, you will most likely win the match if your opponent has the same or similar strength to you. This is what makes a high hook so powerful, is because it takes almost everything from the other opponent if you're able to execute it properly. If you're unable to cup, then it becomes a top roll, and even then you still have a chance. And if you lose your pronation, it turns into a hook, and even in that position, you can still have a chance to win the match. That is what makes a high hook so versatile against almost all arm wrestling techniques. So that was the high hook, and that is how you perform.